It's spring. It feels so nice after a long winter. And I've actually done some stuff over the winter. Let's take a look. Over here, I've added a shelf for the transformer, and I've rewired things so that I now have an outlet under there for the transformer that is switched. The nice thing about that is that this transformer, the old Lionel ZW, doesn't have an on-off switch on it. So when you plug it in, it's always on. So this way here, I can flip the switch, it'll light up, and I'll have power. And then when I'm all done for the day, I can just flip it off. And notice I put in a window so that I can look out onto the layout and make sure the train is running okay as I'm operating it. And over here you can see I put in the turnaround going into the station. So let's go out there and take a look. And it's nice we don't have all the hostas up here yet. So the station is going to be right here, along here, and it'll go around there. And when it comes back out here, it'll go this way and come around and then go back in and through and then back out that way. And I think I'm going to add one more post right there. That's a big gap. I actually took the Lionel track and I laid it out exactly the way it's going to be over here, and I put the posts exactly where the track are, but I think I just need a few more posts there just for stability. But you also notice, if you look down here, the posts are a little more even than they were on the last video, and that's because I came back out here on a warm day in the winter when the ground softened a bit, and I banged them all into the correct height. So, and I straightened them out so that they're all pretty much exactly the way they should be. And I also figured out how to deal with these huge gaps. So I got all the composite wood that I need, and I got one other thing. I finally, as they say, cracked it, so I know how to do this so it's stable and it'll last a long time. And I'll get to that in a minute. But for now, you notice things end right here. And remember how I said I was going to have all this mess cleaned up back here? Well, I am going to have it cleaned up, but not in the way I thought, because these trees over here are all dead. I love my hemlock trees, but they succumb to blight, and so they are no longer safe to leave up. And notice over here, this one in a windstorm fell into the neighbor's yard, and poor Eric now has this huge widowmaker. I don't know if you can see that up there, a huge widowmaker sitting up in his tree. So that's from my tree breaking apart on his tree. So I've hired a company to come in and take everything out of here, including most of the forsythia, and they're gonna clean up all this stuff, get it all out, and then I won't need to hire a landscape company because the tree company will be the landscape company. So all these trees are going, all this stuff is going, and I'll have a nice clean area with which to work. So the track will continue once they're all done with their work. The track will continue out this way and then make the 8-foot curve around here and then go back and join up and head all the way back there. So it's going to be a pretty extensive layout. And what I plan on doing is, once all this is cleaned out, I'm going to get a couple bags of rock salt and I'm just going to pour it and mix it in with the dirt all here, and hopefully that'll kill most of what's popping up under here, so it'll stay relatively clear. I'll probably have to do that for the next few years in order to make sure that everything is dead around here. Otherwise, I know stuff is just going to keep shooting up, especially these forsythia. I want to keep 2 of these because the birds really like the forsythia, and I don't want to displace our feathered friends. But a lot of this, you know, I'm gonna have to take down this, I'm gonna have to take down that, I'm gonna have to take down my little pergola over there with the deer. All that stuff has got to come out when they come in with the big trucks in a few weeks to take all this down. And once they do that, I can finish putting up the rest of the posts around here, and then I can start laying the track. I might even start laying the track a little earlier, but depends on how soon the tree people are going to get here. So right now, let me show you the solution that I came up with for how to bridge these big gaps. Fooled ya? No. Before I do that, there's one other thing I wanted to show you, and that's over here. This is actually on its side right now drying, but this is going to be the station. And this is the bottom of the station right here, and this is the back of the station right here. I'm staining it to try to help preserve it a little longer, because this is pine and this is plywood. But the stain should help because it's gonna be eventually the back. This is the back end here, and the back is going to have siding. This exact same type of siding will be on here, and that'll help preserve this. And this will be undercover because I'm going to be building a slanted roof for this. This edge right here is going to be butted up against the back of the shed, and so this will be on the facing outside. And yeah, and then the roof piece that I'm putting on is just going to have shingles on it. So hopefully that will hold up fine for many years. Won't have to worry about that. So here is the solution, and you can tell by this how incredibly off my stakes are. Remember in a previous video I talked about how the land was sloping here, and this really shows up now that I have this on. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to correct that, or the train is just gonna do this like a wave all the way through. But this is the solution I came up with. This is called L-trim. L-trim is used in sheetrocking. It's very thin aluminum, but it's pretty darn sturdy. Now this one is not very sturdy because, as you can see, if I get down here, it's way above this bracket. And for some reason, this piece of trim that I put here, you notice doesn't have holes here. I don't know why. The other trim has holes all the way across. This one does not, so I'd have to punch a hole there. But this one is really sturdy. It's not going anywhere. And the beauty of this is, you know, as I said, the problem with Trex or any composite wood is it's fairly flexible. And if I were to try to span this here, the composite wood at first would seem fine, but within a month or two, it would just start to sag, especially in the heat, and that would not be good. So I needed something to stabilize the track across these big runs, and this is going to be perfect. One of the beauties of this is it is really cheap. You can get, this is a 10-foot run. You can get 10 of them at a big box retailer for about $7. So it cost very little for me to do this entire run this way. And because this is so easy to work with, all I need are tin snips. And what I can do is on curves, I can just cut a little notch in there and then bend it, and then bolt it down, and then bend it and bolt it down. So this will go around the curves as well. And what does this look like with the Trex, you might ask? Well, let me show you. So this is the Trex, or the composite wood. Sorry, I keep using Trex. It's becoming like Kleenex. It's just a generic name for composite wood. As you can see, I got this nice gray color, which will try to simulate road bed gravel for a railroad. And you notice on the bottom, it's got these grooves. And the grooves are actually, I was gonna fit that to this so the metal would slide right into the grooves. And I think it's going to turn out a little bit different, but I think it's still going to work. And as you can see, this is pretty floppy, and it gets more floppy. You can already see a bow starting to happen in this thing. So when I place it down on here, there, and with the holes in, I was going to go right up to you, with the holes in here, they're going to screw right into the thick part of the Trex right there, and that will make it really stable. I won't have to worry about it, and because it's aluminum, it's not going to rust, which is great. The curves will work out fine. I won't have to do big trestle. I won't have to do plywood. I won't have to do anything to the curves except for this. That should work out really well. And basically, I'll have no maintenance because I'm using stainless steel hardware. So hopefully that's the way it's going to go. Now, I'm not going to do any more work for a little while until the trees over there come down, because it's silly for me to try to build out this track and then I have to take it all apart when they get their big equipment in here to do the trees. So I'm basically stopping progress right here, and I got to wait until I get the date for the trees to come down, and maybe I'll show you part of that too. And once the trees are down, then I can really get going and finish off the route around and then begin tracking it in. But I'm very happy with how this solution turned out. This should make it really stable and last a long time, and that's what I'm looking for.